deck tech is dedicated to, I know, you've probably already guessed it, since this is Ajani week, it's dedicated to this little guy right here, because he's cute and adorable, and he's got a cute little axe, and he's got some one eye, but he's cute and adorable, and so I made him a deck. I thought it would be fun to try and make a deck out of just M15 cards, so that's what I did, and I hope it works. I've played with it a little bit, not enough to really flesh out anything, but I think this deck is pretty fun. It's pretty fun to play. So first off, our mana base. It is 22 plain, straight, and simple. I didn't want to make things anything too complicated. You could easily throw in some stuff in there to make it a little more complex and make the mana base better. But 22 plains, I'm good with simple plains. I like simple mana. I like being able to play stuff when I can and not having to worry about comes into the battlefield tapped or needs to go tap and sack it to go find a... Yeah, I just like plains. Okay, so 22 plains. The creature base for this deck, I start off with 3 copies of Soul Mender. Now it's 1 mana for a 1/1, and it has the cool ability where you can tap, you gain 1 life. So he's good to get out on the battlefield early so you can start racking up those life points, because this deck is all about gaining life and making other things bigger because you gain life. So it's pretty fun to combo off and play with. So 3 copies of Soul Mender. I also have 4 copies of Sungrace Pegasus. Now it's a 2 mana creature for a 1/2, but he has flying and lifelink, and so that's why I like him in this deck, is because that lifelink and the fact that he is flying. It was a little low on flying creatures in this deck, so yeah, so this guy does the flying, he does the lifelink, and he's pretty sweet. Alright, so, and there's 4 copies of that. So the key of this deck, the whole reason this deck works, is this next card right here. I have 4 copies of Ajani's Pride Mate. This card is fun to play with. It's 2 mana for a 2/2, but you get to put a +1/+1 counter on it whenever you gain life. Yeah. So now you understand why I have things like my Soul Mender and my Sungrace Pegasus in there, because gaining life is so fantastic with this card. You can build up this huge, big, beefy creature, and it's awesome. So 4 copies of those. I also include 4 copies of Wall of Essence. I felt like I needed some kind of defender thing, and wait till you hear what it does. It's 2 mana for an 0/4, an 0/4 defender. And for each combat damage that happens to it, you get to gain life. Yeah. Pretty sweet. So, yeah. You can block with this sucker and start gaining life from it. It's awesome. So I've got 4 copies of those in here. Alright, so I also include 4 copies of Heliod's Pilgrim. Now, this is a 3 mana, 2 colorless and a white for a 1/2 creature, but whenever it enters the battlefield, you get to search your library for an Aurora and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your library. I do this because the Aurora I have in here is awesome, and I want to be able to play it because it's so cool. I like it a lot. So I have 4 copies of that in here. Alright, so I also have 4 copies of Paragon of New Dawn, because I wanted to play this card, and it fits really well in this deck. It is 4 mana for a 2/2 creature that gives all your other white creatures +1/+1, and I'm running pure mono white in this deck, so everything gets +1/+1. Yes! And you can pay 1 mana and tap it to give another target white creature you control vigilance until end of turn. Yeah, I like giving stuff vigilance. I like being able to attack and block with my big baddie Ajani Pride Mates, because, yeah, who doesn't want to do that? So, that is a pretty... So I have 4 copies of that because I want to get as many of those out as I can. Alright, and my final creature I have in this deck is 3 copies of Resolute Archangel. It was the white promo, it costs 7 mana, it's a 4/4 flying creature, but my most important part about that is when it enters the battlefield, you gain life. Probably. You'll probably gain life at that point. and life gain is good in this deck. So I have 3 copies of that because he's kind of expensive, and I don't want to get bogged down with that. So only 3 copies of that. Alright, so I also have a couple of spells. I have 4 copies of this cool removal spell, Devouring Light. It's 3 mana, 1 colorless, and 2 white, to remove target attacking or blocking creature from the game. That can't be right. Exile, probably. This has a little version. Okay, yeah. So exile target attacking creature or blocking creature. And no, yeah, remove, yeah, exile. Okay, so, sorry, it is exile. The old cards say remove on them, but it is exile. So, and exile target attacking or blocking creature from the game. And it also has Convoke, which, since I've got a couple of, white creatures that may or may not do stuff that I don't care about really that much, I can use those instead of attacking to surprise my opponent and, yeah, ruin their life because of Convoke. It's always nice to do that. Alright, I also have another Convoke card in here that I think just seems like it would be fun to play in this deck. I only have 2 copies of it because if I get it, it's not that important. But it is Return to the Ranks. Now, this one is, you can pay however much you want and 2 white mana, and what that means is you get to return however much you paid, however many creatures, so X. Yeah, X. So you can pay, it's X, white, white. So you can return up to X target creatures from your graveyard where the mana cost is 2 or less. And I have quite a few of those. All my Pegasus are 2 or less, all the Walls are 2 or less, all the Pride Mates are 2 or less. Yeah, that's sweet. So all the Pride Mates are 2 or less. So there's a lot of targets for this to hit, and you can basically, since it has Convoke, you can, like I said, surprise your opponent with it. So that's really cool. So only 2 copies of though because it's not really that important. It just is fun to play. Alright, and my final enchantment, or my final spell I have in this deck is Spectral Ward. I talked about this earlier this week because this card is so cool. I have 3 copies of it, 5 mana for an Aurora that gives your creature +2/+2 and protection from all colors, but it doesn't remove the Auroras on it, so that's good. Yeah, I like making my creatures bigger and making them safe. And especially if you can get one of these on your Pride Mate, yeah, that's disgustingly awful for your opponent to deal with. And that makes me happy. I like making life difficult for my opponent to play against. Alright, so the final 3 cards in this deck are none other than Ajani, the Planeswalker. Ajani Steadfast. 4 mana for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. +1, you get to give a target creature +1/+1 till the end of the turn. They get Vigilance, they get First Strike, and they get Lifelink. And I think the most important part of that for this deck is that Lifelink. Because yeah, Lifelink's good in this deck. Alright, so it's -2. It's -2 abilities, put a +1/+1 counter on all creatures you control and any other Planeswalkers, which in this deck there's no other Planeswalkers. You could probably throw in an Elspeth or 2 and it would work. But you can put +1/+1 counters on all of them and up their loyalty on the Planeswalkers. So that's pretty sweet. And then its -7 ability is you get an emblem that says if a source would deal damage to you or a Planeswalker you control, prevent all damage except for 1. Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you get that to that point. Honestly, I think I would be just really using him for his +1 ability in this deck because that's pretty awesome. Although his -2 ability doesn't hurt at all either. But yeah, his +1 ability, give target creature First Strike, Vigilance, and Lifelink. Yes, that Lifelink is awesome. So that is my Ajani Lifelink dedicated deck to the little cat dude. So let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Like this video and subscribe for more.